Hey guys, what's up? We're gonna dive right into our reading. This reading is for the month of June. If you find yourself here and it's not June, there's something here for you always. But this follows on the reading that I posted last week for June energetics and themes and updates. And what we talked about a lot last week was the stories that we tell ourselves. We were really focusing on the 5th chakra and paying attention to the magic of the words that we use for better or for worse. So this week feels more tangible. It feels like we are, if you're following along, you're thinking about the stories that you tell yourself about your reality. The stories that you share about where you've been, the stories you share about who you are, and this week, we're really focusing on the excuses that we make when we're talking. So when we're talking about the goals we've set for ourselves, not meeting our own expectations, it's like I almost am hearing this week like less words. When you find yourself beginning to explain and be like, well, I didn't eat healthy this week because, we had this going on and we had this going on and I didn't work out this week because I was just like not feeling right. And it's like, where do you find yourself spiraling when you're using words? Or when you're telling stories? And I feel like this week, less is more. When you find yourself doing that, over-explaining, what I'm getting is it's a drain. And we talked a little bit about this last week. Like you're wasting energy, you're wasting time, you're wasting resources. Not only is it in like verbally wasting your energy, it's also mentally. Like you're spinning. I just see you like spinning out of control. And instead, we're getting internal. And we're asking ourselves to just be quiet and think, what do I really want? What do I really want? How do I want to feel? How do I want to be spending my time? What do I want to be doing? Who do I want to be spending time with? Who do I want to be? Who do I feel that I am? What do I feel drawn to? And instead of over-explaining ourselves away, because the truth, number one, is that we don't owe anyone else an explanation for where we are. And if we're not proud of where we are, why? Or are we actually really loving what we're doing, what we don't feel like other people will approve, so we need to explain ourselves away? So this week, we have the cards of the world, which in the major arcana, this is number 21. This is the last card of the Fool's Journey. So it's wrapping something up and also ushering in a new beginning. The world to me feels like a portal. We're finishing something and starting something new. And then we have this card, Never Ending Story. And I know for me, being in the salon, it's really easy for me to be so used to saying something that I notice myself talking and I don't even feel like I'm present. And it makes sense because I'm talking all day long and entertaining all day long, which I enjoy, but it gets to a point where I'm like, what am I even saying anymore? Like, am I actually aligned with the words that I'm using? Or am I just talking to talk? And what is it that I'm saying? What is it that I'm putting out there? And slowing it down. I feel this way too when we're talking, especially when we're in this phase of like really wanting to change our lives and how we show up for the world, in the world. And we feel this pull, we talked about this a little bit last week too, where it's one foot in our old way of being and one foot in the new way of being, feeling the things that we really want to change and understanding that it's a practice. Like we don't just change overnight, and we don't want to just change overnight because it takes energy to heal, to grow, to become someone new. And if we dive head first into this new way of being, we may miss something. And there's pieces over here of who we were that are integral to who we're becoming. So we don't want to just dive in. We want to take our time. We want to slowly integrate. We want to slowly feel out where we're going. I feel this too, like in work. For me, I've spent so much time in my life building up a salon environment. And I know that I want that to change. Like there's something that my soul is calling me to do outside of that space. But I also know how much time and energy it took, how many relationships I've cultivated, and how much value is in this space. And as I put forth energy into creating something new, I want to be very conscious of what it is I'm calling in and where I'm putting my time and resources. So it's kind of a foot in each world. And when we are cultivating a new life and a new way of being, we have to have that same care, that same conscious communication, conscious movement, conscious effort, because we're pouring our energy into our future and who we want to be and how we want to show up. And so we're not abandoning what's old. We are slowly integrating and cultivating and consciously creating the life that we want to live. And a lot of times I feel like when we're making these changes, when we recognize and become self-aware about things about us we may not love, things about our situation we may not love, and we forget all of the good things that are supporting us and holding us up, all of the beautiful lessons that we've learned, even like the cringy moments about ourselves have taught us something. And so and I feel like too, the quicker we are to abandon all those old versions of ourselves and like cut them off, like those pieces of us get louder, and it's almost as if we start acting out more. Those pieces of us still need love and attention. They still got us here. And when you try to bury them and suppress them, they tend to throw a bigger tantrum than if you were to slow down, recognize which part of you is having a fucking meltdown, and ask them, what is it that you need? I did this a few weeks ago. I couldn't sleep. Level 10 activated. And I knew that being this activated was giving my control to something else. But none of my practices were, I'm not going to say they weren't working, because they absolutely were. They absolutely were. They were keeping me from coming completely unglued. They weren't lulling me to sleep or calming me to that extent, but I don't think I was meant to be calm to that extent. I was meant to become aware that I was activated, get really introspective, and ask myself, ask God, why is this happening? Where is it coming from? What part of me needs attention? And I could see very clearly what season of my life this was coming from. I could see myself in that season really distressed and sad and scared and lonely. And so as I was laying in bed, I was telling her all the things I could feel she needed to hear from me. That you're safe, that I believe you, that you're gonna be okay. You know, taking the time, instead of burying that version of me, to nurture her and love her and remind her that she's safe. And when we send energy to that place, and that's what we're doing in this practice, we're not rewriting the story, but we're healing the old narratives, because a lot of times the old victim mentality is coming from that piece of ourself that is just needing love and attention. And when I go to talk about that season of my life now, it's not this old, activated, terrified version of me. It's the version of me that knows she's held and safe, but also acknowledging that she did experience these things. And so she's showing up from a more healed place, as am I. As are the words that I'm using and the way that I'm responding and reacting to things. So this week we're slowing down. I have more cards that I've pulled to continue this reading, but I'm going to continue this reading on Patreon. So if you are interested in diving deeper, you can meet me over there, and there's a link in my bio below. This week I'm doing one-on-one sessions, if you're watching this in real time, in Slidell at Christina's Therapeutic Touch. I'm in Slidell on Thursday and Friday this week. And next week I'm in Slidell doing services on Monday, June 17th, and if you need a weekend, on Saturday, June 22nd. We also have Sunday service with Cole on June 23rd, and this Thursday on the 20th on the podcast, I have a beautiful episode that will be coming out with Cole. You can find the links to everything I've mentioned below in my Linktree link. I hope that this served you guys in some way. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and please share this message with people who you love, who may really need this little pick-me-up. I love you guys. Peace out.